Welcome to Small Business University Online, powered by Small Business Expo, America's largest business trade show and conference for small business owners. Please be sure to check out our complete webinar schedule and all on-demand recordings from previous webinars on smallbusinessuniversity.online. All of our webinars are full of incredible information to help you grow your business. This webinar is being recorded and will be made available within 24 hours on smallbusinessuniversity.online. In order to ensure optimal sound and video quality during this presentation, please make sure you are logged in using the latest version of Google Chrome. If you encounter any technical issues during the webinar, we suggest that you log out and log back in to reset your system. And now, I'm very excited to introduce today's webinar. Please take it away.
Awesome, perfect. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for taking the time for joining us today. We are very excited to talk about a topic that is no longer just a future, but something that is already transforming how businesses operate today, which is Gen AI. More specifically, we want to focus on how small and mid-sized businesses can unlock real value from Gen AI in a way that is practical, realistic, and scalable. Before we begin, let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Nirvana Gonzalez. I'm a software engineer at now.Software, an AWS partner, where we focus on helping organizations design and implement cloud-based and AI-driven solutions. I also hold a Databricks Solutions Architect certification, as well as for the AWS Cloud Practitioner certification, which allows me to bridge both data and cloud perspectives when working with clients. At OneData, we work closely with companies across different industries to help them adopt technologies like AI and structure on business-oriented way. Also, always focus on delivering measurable value rather than just experimentation. I also like to introduce my partners for this session. We have Haley Brittany, an AWS Solutions Architect professional currently working at Amazon, bringing deep expertise in cloud architecture and enterprise solutions, and Ruth Martinez, software engineer at OneData who has been actively involved in building and implementing scalable solutions for our clients. Thank you all for being here and for giving us a bit of your time. Now, when we hear the term AI, often we think about large enterprises, massive budgets, and highly complex projects. But the reality today is very different. Thanks to cloud services and managed platforms, AI is becoming increasingly accessible, allowing even small and mid-sized businesses to explore its potential in a controlled and cost-effective way. In today's session, we'll go beyond just explaining what generative AI is, and we'll focus on why it matters and how it can improve productivity, how it can help generate revenue streams, and as well what challenges organizations should realistically expect when adopting it. We also address key questions like, can small businesses actually afford to implement AI? And more importantly, how partners like OneData working alongside AWS can simplify that journey and reduce both risk and complexity. So the goal for today's session is simple: to leave you with a clear understanding of where GenAI creates real value, how it can generate measurable impact, and what a realistic path to implement looks like. All right, so a quick overview for this session. We'll move step by step from business's problem to the actual solution. We also are going to talk about a success case that we had with a client. And first, we'll look into the key challenges businesses face today, because technology only matters when it solves a real problem. Then we will define what GenAI is and how it works in simple terms. But also after that, we'll walk through benefits, both in productivity and revenue growth. And we also connect that to practical businesses operations. We also talk about implementation realities, because it's important to be honest. GenAI is powerful, but it's not magic. It requires data, planning, and the right level of maturity. And finally, we end with a question many organizations ask right away: can small businesses afford this? And the answer is often yes, but with the right scope and with the right approach. So this is going to be a mix of strategy, technology, and practical businesses guidance. Small businesses today face a very competitive environment. They're not only competing with local companies anymore, they are often competing with larger organizations like digital first businesses and even global players that have more resources, more automatization, and faster response time. This deck of highlights several challenges such as market competition, scalability, customer retention, evolving customer expectations as well, rapid technology change, and shifting market dynamics. These are very real and they are connected. For example, a small retail company may have a great product, but if it cannot answer customer questions quickly or provide personal experiences, customers may not move to a competitor or perhaps a service that may want to grow or can contain these expectations. But as the demand increases, the team becomes overwhelmed because the manual processes do not scale. A good way to think about this is that many small businesses are still operating with great ideas, great people, and strong efforts, but without enough automatization or data to support or to keep up with the speed of the market. This is exactly where GenAI starts to become relevant and actually important into like these use cases. Customer expectations are changing constantly. People now expect fast, personalized, and convenient interactions. They want answers immediately and they want recommendations tailored to them. And they expect companies to understand their needs. This is a big shift. In the past, businesses could respond slower and still remain competitive. Today, if a customer has to wait long, they usually go somewhere else. And in some industry, that could mean losing a sale completely in some cases. You can also see this as an example when you're trying to reach into a company and sometimes they are using a chatbot that actually don't answer your responses, or that sometimes it's taking like, they keep you on a call for like 20-30 minutes and it's something that is kind of annoying, and sometimes that could mean like losing the client completely. Technology disruption is another major challenge. New tools and platforms appear every day and very quickly. And businesses feel pressure to adopt them, even when they are unsure what their long term return will be. Many companies know they should modernize, but they struggle with where to start. Shifting market dynamics are also important because pricing changes. Competitors move fast, customer preference evolve, and business strategy has to adjust constantly. So when we talk about GenAI, we are not only talking about adopting technology for the sake of it. When we are talking about a tool that can help businesses respond faster, scale smarter, and make better decisions in a market that is changing all the time. But we're talking about, use cases and examples. What is particularly Gen AI? Gen AI or generative AI is a type, of artificial intelligence that can generate content, insights, or responses based on patterns learned from data. Unlike traditional automations tools, which usually follows fixed rules, Gen AI can adapt, learn patterns, and produce outputs in a much more flexible way. There are several ways or several types of GenAI, including predictive analytics, natural language processing, and computer visions. There are different ways AI can help businesses depending on the problem they are trying to solve. For example, predictive analytics can help forecast demand or sales trends. Natural language processing can help with a chatbot understand customer questions, and computer vision can help analyze images, detect defects, or automate visual inspections. The important thing here is that GenAI is not only one single product. It is a set of capabilities that can be used in many businesses scenarios. In a small business context, that could mean a chatbot, for example, an assistant for internal teams, or a recommendation engine, or perhaps a tool that can help analyze customer behavior. So when someone asks, what is Gen AI? The simplest answer is it is AI that can help, create, predict, and assist in a more human-like and scalable way. But how particularly Gen AI works? At a high level, Gen AI works by analyzing data, identifying patterns, and using those patterns to make predictions or generate outputs. The process usually starts with data collection. Then, the data needs to be clear and prepared. That steps matters a lot because if the data is incomplete or messy, the result will also be poor. After that, the model extracts useful features, chooses the right algorithm or model type, gets trained, and then it gets tested before it's used in a business scenario. A simple example is a customer support assistant. If you train it on historical tickets, frequent asked questions, product documents, and chat transcripts, it can generate answering common questions in a way that feels more natural and useful. You can think of Gen AI like training a very fast employee who has read a huge number of examples. Then the employee does not just memorize answers, it also learns patterns and uses them to respond in a context. In this case, and answering questions or frequent asked questions that perhaps another employee or a client has. The key point of the data is the foundation. If the business has good data, Gen AI can produce meaningful results. If the data is weak, then the AI will struggle. So before talking about tools, we also need to talk about data quality and data redliness. We have the Gen AI benefits. The Gen AI benefits are usually seen in three areas: efficiency, better decisions making, and revenue growth. First, efficiency. AI can automate repetitive tasks, reduce manual work, and speed up processes. That gives people more time to focus on higher value tasks. Second, decision making. AI can analyze large volumes of information faster than humans can, and it can surface patterns or insights that will be hard to detect manually. That helps businesses to make better choices. Third is revenue growth. Gen AI can identify opportunities for cross-selling, upselling customers, and customer segmentation, and as well as personalized engagement. That often leads to more conversations and higher customer retention. For example, if a small business uses Gen AI to better understand which customers are likely to buy again, it can send a more targeted campaigns instead of generic ones. That improves results without necessarily increasing headcount. A good way to frame this is Gen AI does not replace business strategy, it improves execution. It helps with businesses do the same work faster, smarter, and often with better outcomes.
So let's break down what generative AI actually does, and more importantly, what it can do for your business. So think of Gen AI in two dimensions. We have the capabilities, and we also have our input and output types. So on the capability side, it can do things like generate new content, so things like marketing emails or product descriptions. We can answer customer questions automatically. It can summarize long documents into key takeaways, translate content into multiple languages, correct errors in your text or code, and classify information like automatically sorting support tickets by urgency. And then on the inputs and output side, Gen AI works across text, images, video, audio, and code. So most models today specialize in one media type, like text, but we're seeing rapid growth in multimodal models that handle multiple types simultaneously in a single interaction. So for small businesses, this means you can have one tool that can draft your marketing copy or generate your social media images and summarize your customer feedback, all without having to hire a specialist for each individual task here. And so here's a broader view of where Gen AI is being applied across industries. And when we take a look at this, think about which of these use cases may map best to your business. So for text, we can think of things like marketing copy, so things that write itself, intelligent search across all of your documents, and a contact center automation that handles routine inquiries. For code, even non-technical business owners can use AI to build simple web apps or convert plain English into database queries. We have image generations for things like transforming how small businesses can create ads, social media content, and product visuals, even without a design team here. Now, some of these use cases, like drug discovery or the metaverse, may not be relevant to your business, and that's totally fine. The key takeaway is to really identify those 1 or 2 use cases that would have the biggest impact on your operations. So for most small businesses, we see things like generating marketing content or customer service automation and intelligent search are very useful. So we see a lot of small businesses start there. And what's also worth noting, things that aren't on this slide are things like AI-powered bookkeeping or automated social media management or agentic workflows are some newer use cases that are gaining some traction in 2025 and 2026. So for example, if your business needs support with marketing campaigns, we can do so with GenAI. So here, Corona could have hired a photographer, flown them to all the beaches worldwide and spent upwards of maybe $50,000 on this photo shoot. Or they can generate these images with AI in minutes. So the same technology is available to you, usually with subscription-based pricing that ranges from around $20 to $200 per month on average, depending on the type of GenAI software you're using. So things like a local bakery can generate some seasonal promotional images, or a real estate agent can create a virtual staging, or a boutique shop produces their specific products without needing a studio. So this is just really one of the most tangible, immediate wins that we see for small businesses is you don't really need a large creative agency. You just need a clear idea of what you want and an AI image tool to generate it, for example. So imagine you're starting a dog food company and you want to personalize those visuals at scale. A golden doodle in Piedmont Park for an Atlanta customer, or a lab in Central Park for a New York customer. You can scale the breed, age, city, park, language, and season, and have hundreds of variations generated automatically. So we see that personalized ads typically see 2 to 5 times higher click-through rates. So here, a local pet store can now run the same caliber targeted ad as a Fortune 500 brand, but without having that Fortune 500 budget. So imagine every ad a customer sees features that their specific dog breed in their neighborhood park. So for small businesses like a local dog groomer, you could generate ads for every breed you serve, localized to every neighborhood that you target. So the cost per creative drops dramatically while the relevance and your conversion goes up. So you don't need a design team or an ad agency. You really just need that clear understanding of your customers and use an AI tool to generate these variations. So PwC projects AI could boost productivity by 40% by 2035. And more recent McKinsey data shows that 20 to 30% of gains are already being realized in 2025 and 2026. So for a 10-person team, a 40% boost is like adding 4 members without the increased payroll. So this isn't about replacing people. It's about freeing them from manual tasks like data entry or email drafting and report formatting, so they can focus on the things that matter for your business, like relationship building, problem solving, and serving customers. So just think about your own day. Like, how many hours do you spend on tasks that a computer can handle? That's time that we see GenAI giving back to employees. So let's get specific about where those productivity gains come from. The first we can see is with automating data entry. So if your team spends hours each week entering data into spreadsheets or CRM or accounting systems, that's something that GenAI can handle. So small businesses report saving 10 to 15 hours per week. So for a small team, that's like adding a part-time employee for free. We also see that it can help enhance your customer service. So AI chatbots can handle some of those routine inquiries 24/7. So a customer asking about the hours you're open or your return policy or their order status can get an instant response at 2 a.m. on a Sunday without adding that additional headcount to your team. We also see that GenAI can help streamline supply chain. So demand forecasting helps you overstock things like your products that don't sell or running out of your best sellers. It can also help reduce errors. So AI catches the mistakes that humans can miss, especially in some of that repetitive data work. We also can automate routine tasks, so things like invoice, voice processing, appointment scheduling, or follow-up emails. And we also optimize workflows with this, so less time on processes and more time on things that actually drive value. One thing on this slide that I'd strongly encourage that's not here is AI content creation for marketing, like we previously spoke about. So generating those social media posts, email campaigns, product descriptions, and blog content is really one of those highest impact, low effort starting points for a lot of small businesses that we see. And so let's shift from saving time to making money, because we know that's what ultimately matters for your business. So we see revenue growth with GenAI, and one of those areas is in customer segmentation. So instead of sending that same email blast to your entire list, GenAI can identify some of those micro segments based on behavior, like their purchase history and their preferences. So a boutique may send different promotions to their first-time buyers versus their loyal customers versus those lapsed customers who maybe haven't shopped with them in a while. So we see businesses using AI segmentation report approximately 10 to 30% higher conversion rates. We also see revenue growth with sales forecasting. So a clear picture of what's coming so you make smarter decisions about your inventory, staffing, and marketing spend. So this goes beyond prediction. AI surfaces emerging opportunities that you may otherwise miss. So maybe there's a product category gaining traction with a segment that you have not yet targeted. We also see revenue growth with personalized recommendations. So things like the customers who bought X also bought Y isn't just an experience just for Amazon anymore. Small businesses can leverage that same technology through services like Amazon Personalize. And so this increases the average order value and can help your customers to keep coming back. The other revenue improvement is pricing optimization. So GenAI can analyze market trends, your competitor pricing, the demand patterns, as well as your customers' willingness to pay simultaneously. So this is intelligence that would take a human analyst maybe days to compile. Even a 2 to 3% improving in pricing strategy can impact your bottom line. And so let's take a look at some of the challenges in implementing GenAI. So really understanding these challenges is the first step to helping us overcome them. So the first is data quality. So GenAI is only as good as the data it learns from. If your customer records are incomplete or your information is scattered across spreadsheets and email threads, your AI outputs will reflect that. So the solution is to start with that data audit. You don't need perfect data. You just need good enough data that's organized in a way that GenAI can access it and make use of it. Next challenge is technical infrastructure requirements. So a few years ago, this meant maybe buying expensive servers and hiring a DevOps team. But today, the solution can look like things like cloud platforms like AWS, which have eliminated that barrier with pay-as-you-go pricing. So a small business can get started with GenAI infrastructure for less than a cost of a monthly software subscription. Another challenge is a lack of skilled talent here. So finding people who understand AI in your business is genuinely difficult, but no code and low code tools mean that your existing teams can work with AI without being those data scientists. And for complex implementation, that's where partners like One Data can help bridge that gap. So these challenges are real, but they're not ones that you have to solve alone. So the foundational landscape has evolved to address these barriers. So let's look at how the building blocks that make GenAI practical for businesses of any size. And so these are foundational models. Foundational models are large-scale AI models that are pre-trained on massive amounts of data. So that hard part is already done. They've learned from the complex patterns in language, images, and code, so you don't have to start from zero. You take a foundational model, so like Amazon Titan or Anthropic Claude, and you customize it with your own business data. So your product catalog, your customer interactions, or your internal documents. So for small businesses, the most cost-effective approach here is called RAG, or Retrieval Augmented Generation. So what this does is it connects a foundational model to your business knowledge without expensive retraining here. So think of it like giving the AI reference library specific to your business. You get enterprise-grade AI capabilities without the enterprise-grade complexity or cost. So the infrastructure challenges we just talked about are, so foundational models delivered through cloud services like AWS are how we see the industry and small businesses solving them. So how do you access these foundationals and put them to work? Well, Amazon Q is one of the ways. Amazon Q is AWS's generative AI assistant. So we have Q Business, which can connect to your company data, so things like your documents, your emails, databases, your applications, and answer questions, generate content, and take actions. So for a small business, things like asking, what are our top selling products last quarter, or draft up an email to the customer who asked about catering, you can get instant and accurate responses quickly. We also have Q Developer, which helps build and maintain code faster. It's useful even without a dedicated development team. And if you've used AWS, any services in the console, you may see we also have Amazon Q Developer to help you build applications as well as troubleshoot within the AWS console. So both of these come with built-in privacy and security. So your data is never used to train the underlying models. So for small businesses concerned about data security, that's a critical differentiator. And Amazon Q has then evolved into something more powerful that we can take a look at. So Amazon Quick is really the evolution of Amazon Q Business. And it's built to be the AI-powered workspace for your entire organization, no matter how small. So 3 things that really matter here is first, it unifies all of your data sources. So your documents, spreadsheets, emails, your CRM, and more. They're all combined so you get a clear, context-rich answers into scaling instead of searching across all of these different systems. So how many times have you thought, I know that information is somewhere? Well, Quick helps to eliminate that by searching through that, all the information you have. Second, it enables agentic AI teammates that don't just answer questions, they take action. So things like updating a sales opportunity, sending a follow-up message in Slack, or sending an email, creating a customer report. Quick can handle it. It's really like having that extra team member who doesn't sleep. And third is it's intuitive. If your team can type a question, they can use Amazon Quick. There's no real technical training required, and everything sits on that enterprise-grade security. So things like access controls, guardrails, responsible AI, and compliance are all in place. So your data stays private and it's never used to train models. So let's take a look at some of the 6 core capabilities of Amazon Quick and how it maps to real small business needs. So the first is Spaces. So this is your AI-ready workspace within Quick. You upload your files, you connect your dashboards and your data sources, and you organize everything by project or team. Think of this as your digital filing cabinet that your AI can actually read and understand. Then we have our chat agents. These are custom AI agents trained on your business knowledge. So a retail store could build an agent that knows their entire product catalog and can return the policy there. Or a consulting firm could build one that knows every past project and proposal, and you can share these across your team. The next is research. So if you ever needed really good deep dive analysis, research can do this by generating a comprehensive professional reports that you can share, export, summarize. So it's really great for things like your quarterly business reviews, market analysis, or doing competitive research within typically 30 minutes. And then we have QuickSight, which some of you may be already familiar with. It's a business intelligence and data visualization tool. So you get interactive dashboards that help you see the trends, your track KPIs, and really make those data-driven decisions without needing to be a data analyst. We also have flows. So these are ways you can automate those repetitive tasks with no code workflows. So you can create things like weekly report generation or customer onboarding sequences or inventory alerts and set them up, and they run automatically on the schedule that you choose. And then last but not least is automate. So for more complex, like multi-step business processes. So think of things like end-to-end order processing, employee onboarding workflows, or multi-system data synchronization. So all of this connects to over 40 data sources and growing, so like Salesforce, Google Drive, Slack, and many more. and it sits on a foundation of governance, security, and responsible AI. So for a small business, this is a enterprise-grade capability at a fraction of the traditional cost. Okay, I'm passing back over to Ruth.
Thanks, Brittany. Well, she has shown us so many opportunities that we have with GenAI, but I know that if you're already interested in all of these tools, in all of these opportunities, well, what's the possibility here for my business? So you have to go back a little bit here and see if for your business at this moment it's ready for these solutions. The answer for this depends a lot on the nature of your business, the available resources, the strategic goals. Some businesses are ready for AI now, but others first need to clean data, modernize their systems, or define a better business case. Because as we've seen, the need for AI, it's not only about innovating, but rather where does this adoption will enhance any improvements for my business. For example, a company with a lot of customer requests and a lot of tickets, for example, and a really good knowledge base might be a great candidate for a chatbot. And other businesses that perhaps have a system where nothing is centralized, perhaps they have some PDFs in one computer, in other system they have more information, and with everything, they might need to focus first on this data management. So implementation is possible, but perhaps it must be tailored to the organization's maturity. So the readiness for it, we need to see that first. So, some factors affecting GenAI affordability for small businesses. So, continuing with the chatbot example, a simple chatbot or internet knowledge assistant might be relatively affordable. A heavily customized AI platform integrated across multiple systems will obviously cost more. And the key question here is not just can we afford AI, but rather what level of AI we need right now, because we need to see the context of your organization. Perhaps a chatbot might be suitable for automating these tasks that your team of customer experience might be dealing every day, and they can focus on more tasks like going into each personal case where they do need to be involved. So that mindset helps businesses avoid overbuilding. Budget constraints are another factor, though there is also the resource constraint and lack of understanding. Many small businesses cannot commit to large internal teams to start these AI projects. They may need a partner to accelerate delivery. And also, if the leadership team, I mean, that's the purpose of this webinar, does not fully understand GenAI and the capabilities, it becomes harder to justify the investment. This is where education matters. Often, once people see a realistic use case, for example, the chatbot, which is one of the principal use cases that we show because, and that they will show a success case with one of our clients, the decision becomes much easier. So affordability is partially financial, but also strategic and organizational. So another factors affecting this feasibility, I want to focus on three key factors: the organizational size, the data complexity, and the cost. We've talked about it before, but to determine whether an AI initiative is truly feasible, the organizational size, the data complexity, and cost is important to take into account. So, starting with organizational size, there is the stereotype that only these large enterprises can afford it. But it's not limited to only those organizations. While bigger companies may have the resources to build custom solutions from scratch, to experiment, and to do all of these trial and error that sometimes these innovations might need. Smaller organizations like yours can still adopt AI effectively by using managed services and pre-built models. This is something that it's enabled through AWS. And the difference lies in the approach rather than building everything from scratch internally, really having to afford all of these expenses of a really talented team that is focused on data, on machine learning. Smaller teams can integrate these existing solutions and still achieve meaningful results for your organization. Another important factor is data complexity. AI systems rely heavily on the quality and accessibility of data. So if information is scattered across multiple systems, as I said before, perhaps in a building you have all of these computers, and in each computer has different documents. Then we go to another of your teams and they have more information that is not accessible to everyone. Well, there's a challenge of this unstructure, of this inconsistency, and the implementation overall becomes more harder. For example, trying to build a chatbot when this data is stored in all of these places and disconnected platforms will likely lead to poor performance. On the other hand, when data is centralized, well organized, and really your organization is prepared to take that solution right now, AI solutions can be deployed faster and deliver more accurate results. So in this sense, preparing the data is often one of the most critical and the first step in this process. So cost is the third factor here, and it should always be evaluated in the terms of the return of investment. But I think that Brittany here showed us some of these use cases that you as a business right now can take and think about it and see if, well, this is a solution that I can take right now, because we're not talking about that data readiness, we're talking about marketing, we're talking about so many other examples that here in One Data as a business we've already taken in our internal operations also, so implementing AI just for the sake of innovation can lead to these unnecessary expenses if there is no clear business value. So focus on those use cases that solve real problems. For example, automating repetitive tasks like the email generation, like marketing, like outreach, or improving the efficiency in specific processes that perhaps you have also realized in your time in your company. Ensures that the investment is aligned with measurable outcomes and tangible benefits. So this part, I really like to take this exercise of thinking, okay, as a company, what are the pain points that agentic AI, that all of these tools that we have shown will help my business grow. So overall feasibility is not just about having access to technology, but how about, well, these three elements align with my organization. So when the size of the company, the state of the data, and the expected value are all considered together, AI initiatives are much more likely to succeed, to create real impact, and at the end of the day, to justify in my organization. So, while GenAI can seem complex, it becomes much more achievable when you have the right partners to support you. Because many companies struggle not because the technology doesn't exist, because there are a lot, but because they don't know how to implement it correctly or where do we start. That's where AWS and us come into play, combining deep technical expertise with powerful cloud capabilities to simplify the entire process and this adoption to you. with AWS providing these scalable, secure, and fully managed services, and One Data guiding all of this process with you, the strategy, the architecture, and the implementation. This partnership helps organizations so that they don't need to build everything from scratch or take unnecessary risks. But instead of spending these entire months or perhaps years experimenting with trial and error challenges with GenAI adoption, you can follow a structured and proven approach that accelerates results and ensures best practices from day one. These partnerships is especially valuable for organizations that want to move quickly from ideas to real working solutions. It's not just about exploring these AI concepts in theory, but actually deploying these use cases that generate value for you, whether that's improving operations, enhancing customer experience, or driving revenue growth. The goal is to turn innovation into something tangible and measurable. Ultimately, the message that I want to share here in this slide is that adopting GenAI doesn't have to be overwhelming or resource heavy. With the right support, businesses like yours can confidently take the next step, reduce complexity, and focus on what really matters, achieving impactful results and staying competitive in rapidly evolving markets. So, for the next slide, I want to showcase one of our success cases. And perhaps you are going to identify with their struggle. So, Nextventa is a platform, they are a web and mobile platform. So, in their team they were seeing these struggles. So, well, we are a really small team, we are developing, but we don't have the resources or the time to take each of the tickets of the people that are currently using our app, and perhaps they're having issues, or perhaps they only need like this guide so that they can use their platform. So the solution that was proposed to them is simply use the resources they already have, like all of these knowledge bases, user manuals, and use it to nurture a prepare and to build this model. We created a chatbot for them, and the capabilities of the chatbot has enhanced a lot of the customer experiences. They have raised their productivity in the team because they're also attending teams in USA, in LATAM. So with all of these struggles, I mean, there are a lot of complex stuff that goes in the background about having to use a chatbot in different contexts, in different cultures, languages, and perhaps at the end of the day, like in more technical depth, is that when you are building a chatbot, you have to take into account security because that's also priced for you. Because perhaps someone wants to use this chatbot for other stuff. So there are more security aspects that we're taking into account so that it's better for them. So, how One Data and AWS can help implement GenAI? Well, together, we provide an environment where business can move faster with less operational burden. One that helps with the consulting, with implementation, and the solution design side. And AWS provides the scalable infrastructure and managed services that support the AI workload. So that combination matters because GenAI is not just about the model, it is about the data, the deployment, the security, as I said, with the chatbot and the ongoing operation. So this partnership is about making implementation more achievable for real business. And there are a lot of things that we evaluate that include integration, the machine learning that AWS offers services that make it easier to build and deploy these models without starting from scratch, and the analytics aspect so that the insights are there for your business. So everything is visible, for actionable, and so that you are aligned to your business goals. So One Data offers a full ecosystem of services that we don't have this expertise only in one area, but we support clients across the entire digital and AI journey. For example, for the chatbot, from the interface of the user experience design to the cloud migration and a lot of other services. So that's where we can support you. Also, the AWS partnership. This slide I'm showcasing here that AWS provides tiers to recognize these organizations that have proven technical expertise and demonstrated customer experience. We are AWS advanced partners, and we are always aiming for our teams, for the people working on One Data to certificate, to be better each day in AWS and a lot of our other services. There are special discounts and promotions available through our collaboration with AWS. These benefits, well, they are really valuable for small business because you don't take this workload at the start, all of these costs. This is something that we can dive deeper in a personalized call. If you want to contact us, this is our technological stack. They all help us to build scalable and reliable solutions and to tailor to your business needs. So the time's up for us. So to close, I will emphasize this idea that GenAI is not about replacing people. It is about helping businesses work smarter, faster, and more strategically. The biggest opportunity for you guys as small businesses is to start small, focus on one case where GenAI will help you grow and build from there. Thank you for your time today. We appreciate the opportunity to be here and share about this topic. And we're happy to continue the conversation. If you want to contact us, we are available for you and to explore any specific use case, proof of concept, or the next steps for your organization. I don't know if we have the time for a small Q&A to open space for that, but we are available for you guys. Any kind of question, you can email us, and happy to be here. Thanks.
Thank you so much for that informative presentation. We really enjoyed it. As a reminder, this webinar was recorded and will be available on demand within 24 hours on smallbusinessuniversity.online. Please remember to frequently check out our webinar schedule on smallbusinessuniversity.online for other